Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing wonderful. So we are very quickly approaching the end of 2023. I feel like we probably say that every single year, right? It's just like the end of the year comes, we're in holiday season and all of those sorts of things. So for the remaining time that we have together in 2023, I'm going to do something a little bit different on my channel. So the structure of what has come out of my channel, some of it's been intentional, some of it has just happened organically, is that, I kind of have my title and then I tie in some life situations or real life experiences or a little bit of what I teach in the classroom, which is sociology. And then I usually end with the scripture. I'm going to do it in reverse. I'm going to actually give you the scripture up front. And I am focused on Proverbs, okay? I love Proverbs. If you're a Bible reader or not a Bible reader, it's not about that. I love Proverbs because they are very practical. That's the word. They're practical. They're things that, they're written in such a way that it's almost, sometimes they're like a riddle, and they're, can be applied at, in so many different spaces of our life. Okay. And so I just feel like it's something, I know, the Bible, there's a lot in it and it can, some of it can be hard to understand the way it's written. This is not about that, but Proverbs, I feel like no matter who a person is, there's something in it that they can pull out, that will help them. And that's essentially what my Fit for Your Purpose channel is about. So I am focused on Proverbs 25:19. I want to make sure I quote that right. And I'm actually reading it out of the NLT, which is the New Living Translation. I'm so sorry if you hear Carly, my dog, drinking in the background. She always does it at the wrong time. But Proverbs 25:19 states, "Putting confidence in an unreliable person in times of trouble is like chewing with a broken tooth or walking on a lame foot." We don't really use the word lame in 2023. I mean, essentially it's talking like if you break a foot or if you have a sprained foot or ankle or something like that, but it's not working the way it should, right? So as you see, I've entitled this, Chewing on a Broken Tooth. And some of you are watching this video simply because of the silliness of the title. And you're like, what does that have to do with anything? I've had toothaches in my life. I'm 43. So I'm sure, I don't know, I've had a couple of them. And I don't think I've ever had like an abscess, but I've definitely had like a cavity that just, I would bite on it and it would cause pain. And so I'd start chewing on the other side of my mouth so I could avoid it, right? And as I was thinking about this, I read this Proverbs a few weeks ago and I just kept coming back to it. And it was just like, I was like, one, I hadn't read it before. And then I liked it. And it was just so practical. And I was like, I can tie this into what I talk about a lot, on my video. And so what happens when you have tooth pain? I often hear people say that tooth pain is like the worst pain. I think the worst pain is the pain that you are enduring at that time. I think tooth pain is very painful, but I mean, if you have a broken body part, that's probably just as painful in that moment, right? But nonetheless, chewing on a broken tooth, let's just assume that broken tooth is like, it has a cavity, right? The word that comes to my mind is just, I guess it's two words, extreme pain. It hurts so bad, right? And so you adjust and you like I said, you start chewing on the other side until you can get to the dentist and get it fixed, right? And then what happens? They fill it and all that sort of stuff, and then you can bite down and then there's no more pain, right? And so essentially this Proverbs is saying, when we put our confidence and our trust in unreliable people, and not only just in general, but in times of trouble, essentially saying in the times that we need people the most, what's going to happen is extreme pain. So what do? I'm going to say something that's a little contradictory to what I teach in the classroom. Okay. So oftentimes in every class I teach, I tell my students, we often find ourselves in our bubbles and our bubbles need to be popped. But our bubbles essentially are, people who look like us, think like us, speak like us, act like us, have the same beliefs like us. And we don't want other people in our bubble. Right. And usually I'm teaching it in the context of like, diversity and making sure we're accepting of all people and everything like that. Right. And that's true. Okay. But this is a little bit different. And it's, like I said, if I have a student who's watching this and you're like, Professor Campbell, that's not what you taught us in the classroom, but I'm saying the same thing. That still matters. But when it comes to living a life of purpose, we 100% have to be mindful who we are around and how that person is. That ask ourselves questions, or is that person bringing out the best in me? Is that person helping me to grow? Is that person causing me pain when I bite down and I need that person, I'm having trouble and I go to that person and they cause me more pain? Is that the person that is supposed to be in your space really as you live a life of purpose? And as you step into that space of living a life of purpose, there's some eliminating that has to happen. And that's that tough pill to swallow. And, we feel like we're being mean or, not faith driven or anything like that, but it's not about that. It's just being mindful that in time, especially in times of trouble, we need our people, right? We need the people who are going to uplift us, who are going to encourage us, who are going to give us the right word at the right time, or just simply share a space with us, right? But if you go to that person and the end result is that you always leave and it's like biting down in that extreme pain, maybe, just maybe, it might be time to reevaluate. Living a life of purpose is not easy, but the outcome of it is so great. And so there's a process. And I hope with this series of Proverbs, there's something in there where, even just our day-to-day lives, right? We often find ourselves in a space where we're questioning, why is this happening? Why is this person doing this? And we forget a lot of times that we have control. We can get up, we can make a phone call, we can call the dentist and say, every time I bite down, it's hurting. I really need you to feel this. And this is, can you get this taken care of? And guess what? They will, but you got to take the first step. So I hope that Proverbs helps somebody. I'm excited about this series. I think there's, I'm going to be prayerful about it. And just, I read this a few weeks ago and I just was like, this is something that I can use for sure. And I hope that it benefits somebody else. So as always, I hope you have a wonderful week or weekend, and I will see y'all on the next video.